Jasmine entered the first winter of her 20th year with a frame that felt unfinished, and a mind that kept repeating limits that were never hers to keep. She walked through a small-town gym where the air smelled of rubber mats and old metal. She saw bodies that looked carved by routine while hers felt shaped by hesitation. She did not announce a goal. She did not speak of transformation. She only watched how people moved weight with a certainty she did not yet understand. She felt the distance between who she was and who she believed she could be. That distance became the first spark. It was plain. It was quiet. It was real. She began with small loads that barely challenged the bar. The plates made no sound that anyone noticed. Her hands shook during every rep. Her breath staggered. Every joint felt uncertain. She pushed through the sets with a focus that ignored the mirror. She did not look at the shape of her arms. She did not look at her shoulders. She looked into the mechanic rhythm of lift-hold. Lower repeat. She left the gym without celebration. She went home with a sore back and a steady resolve. She knew nothing was dramatic yet. She knew it would take months to feel one genuine shift. Days turned into weeks. Weights inched upward. Her grip stopped quivering. Her feet learned to root into the floor during squats. Her spine learned to hold tension without fear. Each session reshaped a belief she once carried like a chain. She understood that strength was not a gift but a skill that demanded repetition. She erased old stories of weakness without using grand statements. She simply replaced them with the evidence she created under iron. Her body recorded each rep with precise honesty. The first twists came in spring when her progress stalled like a locked door. Her lifts stopped rising. Her energy dipped. Her sleep turned restless. She felt the edge of quitting. She realized the early victories had created a false story. The growth would always come in a straight line. The stall forced her to confront the truth of development. Growth moves in angles, not arcs. She studied her own routine with a cold lens. She saw that she had repeated the same patterns too long. Her body had adapted. She needed disruption. She altered her training with movements she once avoided. Deadlifts with heavy pause holds, lunges that punished her balance, pull-ups that demanded control from muscles that once did nothing for her. She refined every detail of her form. She shortened rest periods until her lungs burned. She extended final sets until the bar felt welded to her hands. The shock forced her body to wake from the plateau. She felt strength surge again. It arrived slower than before, but it arrived with deeper roots. By late summer, her physique had changed in ways no early observer expected. Her back carved out lines from hours of controlled tension. Her legs gained density that altered the shape of her posture. Her shoulders formed a silhouette that signaled new power. People in the gym stared at her without recognizing she was the same girl who once struggled with empty bars. She moved with a deliberate presence. She did not chase admiration. She dismissed every compliment with a nod and returned to work. The gym had become a laboratory. She approached every set like a test with one outcome: execute or collapse, improvement or stagnation. She allowed no middle ground. Then reality cut through again in a way she did not plan. A workplace injury forced her off her routine. A fallen stack of boxes struck her leg. The muscle bruised deep. Doctors told her to pause training for several weeks. The orders felt like a personal blow. Her identity had fused with discipline. She feared losing momentum. She feared becoming the version of herself she had buried under months of sweat. At home, she sat with the pain and the silence. She felt restless. She wanted to fight the restriction but knew it would only worsen the damage. She began a new routine built around what she could still control. She sharpened her nutrition. She adjusted sleep patterns. She executed mobility work with rigid precision. She read about strength mechanics. She studied force production. She watched videos of elite lifters, not for inspiration but for technical extraction. Her mind trained while her leg healed. She did not waste recovery. She weaponized it. By the time she stepped back into the gym, she carried new knowledge that amplified her next phase. The return was not triumphant. Her numbers dropped. Her body felt clumsy. Her leg fatigued fast. She refused to soften the truth. She acknowledged the setback without sentiment. She rebuilt from the ground up. She focused on form before load. She rebuilt movement pathways. After several weeks, her strength resurfaced. This time it came with greater efficiency. She moved weight with a cleaner line. Her bar path straightened. Her core stayed braced without thought. She realized she had not only recovered, she had upgraded. The final phase of her transformation did not look cinematic. It looked methodical. She started training before sunrise. She performed compound lifts with the discipline that cut through noise. She finished with accessory work that corrected every imbalance. Her endurance extended. Her power output rose. Her recovery speed increased. Her physique hardened. Her confidence no longer felt external. It was not about applause. It was not about being noticed. It was the quiet certainty of capability. A twist arrived in autumn when the gym held a strength challenge open to all members. She did not plan to enter. She saw the sign and walked past it. Later, she reconsidered. Not for validation. Not for competition. She wanted a measurement outside her own perception. She signed up with no announcement. On the day of the event, the room filled with lifters who had trained far longer than she had. Some looked at her with dismissal. They assumed she would fail early. They judged the softness she once carried rather than the resilience she had carved through relentless work. The deadlift round became the moment that fractured those assumptions. She stepped to the bar with a stillness that made the crowd shift. She locked her grip. She planted her feet. She pulled with controlled violence until the plates rose with smooth certainty. The judges nodded. The crowd changed its posture. She loaded the next attempt with an extra plate that many expected to crush her. She lifted it with a precision that made the earlier attempt look like a warm-up. She surpassed half the field in a single lift. The squat round revealed another truth. Her form had become brutally efficient. She descended with depth that left no room for doubt. She rose with force that made the bar shake. Each successful attempt erased another layer of her past. She understood that she no longer inhabited the identity of weakness. She had built a new structure inside herself through repetition, not fantasy. When the event ended, she placed near the top, though she had never aimed for the podium. The coordinator handed her a placement sheet. She accepted it without drama and left before the final applause. She did not need celebration. She had already measured what mattered. She had tested her limits and found they were far wider than she once believed. Her transformation was not magic. It did not rely on slogans or shortcuts. It was the outcome of sustained tension applied to every day. It was a result of breaking mental patterns that once dictated her physical boundary. It proved that identity is not fixed. It is constructed through repetition. Her story did not end at the event. She returned to the gym the next morning before sunrise. She loaded the bar heavier than the day before. She moved with intention that no crowd could influence. She understood that strength is not a destination. It is a continuous negotiation between will and fatigue. Her arc from week 2 warrior did not rely on fantasy. It relied on sequence. Spark. Plateau. Break. Recovery. Evolution. Each stage demanded honesty. Each stage required that she confront the gap between belief and action. Her journey remained grounded in the real world. No dramatic soundtrack, no sudden miracle, only the relentless execution of daily labor. The twist that outsiders never saw was that her transformation did not make her invincible. It made her accountable. She now had proof that effort shapes outcome. She could no longer claim limitation as fate. She had seen her own capacity unfold under pressure. This knowledge created responsibility. She carried it like weight on her spine. It kept her disciplined. It kept her direct. It removed excuses. By winter, she had become a different presence in the gym. Not loud, not boastful. Her silence carried more weight than most shouts. Others watched her sets to learn technique. New members studied her foot placement. She never instructed. She never lectured. She demonstrated through action that transformation is not a performance. It is a practice. Her story continues beyond every rep she completes. It continues in the sharpened structure of her mind. It continues in the way she approaches each challenge without flinch. It continues in the cold precision with which she rebuilds herself whenever she is forced to break again.